so you're a Helix person, and you know that we have in the Helix a few different types of split blocks. Now there's split dynamic, I'll just show you here. Split Y, so you can split from A to B, so this is signal path A and this is signal path B. Also the way you get to do this is if you put something like a distortion block here and then you go action, you can move it to path B if you didn't know that already. I know it took me a while to figure that out. Right, anyway, so now we go to this preset. So when you create this split, you've got some options. Now automatically it'll come up with split Y, which will send an equal amount of signal down A and B and then rejoin wherever you place it, so you can press action and move that split. Now the split dynamic, essentially what this does, I'll flash up on screen now, but it will basically split the signal so that anything above this threshold goes one direction and anything below the threshold goes the other. And you'll hear what's happening with this. As I play quieter, the signal gets sent down here and up an octave and into a reverse before the amp. And as I play more loudly, it goes straight along the normal path, so you get the unaffected signal. And I thought that was quite a nice little use of it. I've not used this block loads, so you can set the threshold to be, you know, wherever you want it to be. And the attack I've set low here because I want to be able to to just grab the quieter notes. The decay I've got set slightly longer. So these are obviously going to affect the amount of time it takes to change between the two signal paths depending on where you got your threshold set. And then this reverse kind of will be obvious. Now the louder stuff will go to the octave up and the quieter stuff will be unaffected. So basically that just reverses the axis of the thing. So now it's the louder stuff doesn't go through and the quieter stuff does. And then obviously the threshold sets that level at where it's kind of grabbing your notes, so you could set that higher and then I'm going to have to play either more quietly or more loudly, or more loudly to get that effect. So that was one use that I found of that. Then another similar kind of use, again we've got this split dynamic thing going on, but what I've got here is I've got a Searchlights reverb, and you heard this in the intro, going into reverse delay, and that joins after the amp and cab. And so very similar settings, but you'll hear what happens here. When I'm playing more quietly, we're going to get this unaffected signal. Is that I'm getting to hear, it's kind of doing like a gated reverb type thing, but I'm hearing more of those clean, which would normally kind of get washed out by the reverb, because the louder reverb tail would often get in the way of that, and it's doing less of that now. I could reverse that and you'd get the quiet stuff with the reverb. to play kind of delicately. And then the reverb will grab some of that louder stuff and create that kind of pad effect behind me. Then the last use of this is one that Alex Price, if you haven't checked him out on YouTube, great chap, HX Stomp user. His idea was essentially to use this split crossover. So the crossover does the same kind of concept, but it is splitting the lower frequencies and the higher frequencies depending on where you set that crossover. So you hear what happens here. You're getting like the bass line affected by this lower octave, going down an octave, but not the higher melody stuff. And that's helping things to be maybe a little bit less muddy than they would be if you just had that octave added in. So I'm kind of enjoying that. Impossible to play that, but you could experiment with that, setting that frequency lower depending on your taste and how high you want the bass line to go. Alex has done a really thorough video on that actually, and I'm boosting the level after it. I've got a dual cab here, so I'm kind of running low on DSP. But those were just 3 uses. If you want to leave in the comments how you're using these, that would really help me to steal your ideas, I think. I've not come up with too many uses for these myself, but I'm sure there's something there that I'm missing. For sure it's quite a powerful thing. So yeah, there's got to be some more uses for this stuff. That was Alex Price's idea of it, you know, using it to mimic the Boss OC3, I think it was, where it first invented that thing, Boss doing that thing where you could have like the lowest note. This kind of poly. On where you've got this bass line which is not affecting so much of the high frequencies. So those are just some of the uses. I'll drop those into the folder, the Dyn Vox thing. Where you play softer for the higher stuff, and then this one here, where Dyn Verb, where you play softer for less reverb. And then you've got Alex Price's idea here where you're using the crossover to split crossover to chuck the lower frequencies into an octave down. So hopefully those give you some ideas, and feel free to leave in the comments how you're using these, if you've got other interesting kind of things that you're doing with it. Catch you in another video soon, and feel free to like and subscribe. Cheers.